This might be one of my favorite recipes that I've ever made, and this is going to be way more filling, way more satisfying than any protein bar. Welcome back to the Anabolic Hub, where we make anabolic deliciousness. We're back inside my kitchen today, and we're doing another original recipe, an anabolic oatmeal cinnamon raisin cookie. This one is so good. It's another single serving recipe. Not going to be able to binge on this one. You can cook it in the air fryer or in the oven. Doesn't matter. Either one will do just fine. It's going to be high in protein. It's going to be high in fiber. It's definitely going to make you feel full when you're done eating it. And the best part is there's no chance of overeating and having anything else that you've meal prepped out, because once you eat it, it's gone and you're on to the next meal. It's certainly going to be ideal for any weight loss plan, any shredding plan, and definitely any maingaining plan. So, with no further ado, let's get things started by having a look at the ingredients. Here we go. Vanilla-based casein protein powder, swerve, brown ground cinnamon, swerve, granular oat flour, raisins, baking powder, unsweetened almond milk. It's a single serving recipe, but we're still going to be mixing together some dry ingredients, mixing together some wet ingredients, and combining the two for some anabolic deliciousness. So we're gonna get things started here by combining our dry ingredients first. First dry ingredient you need is going to be 33 grams of your oat flour. If you don't have oat flour or you can't find it in the store, very simple to make at home. You can measure it out, put it in a blender or a food processor, turn it on, you got yourself some oat flour. Very simple to do. I like to leave a few of the oats in the oat flour. I think it adds a great texture to this recipe, so I highly recommend that you do that. Just hold out a few flakes, drop them in. It's gonna add a fantastic texture by the time we get to the end when we're at the taste test table. And our next dry ingredient is going to be 23 grams of the vanilla-based casein protein powder. Casein protein powder, not whey. Do not use whey. You know it's going to be soupy, you know it's going to be dry, and you know you're going to be disappointed. Don't use it. This is a casein only recipe. 23 grams of the vanilla-based casein protein powder, pre-measured and on the money, of course. Next dry ingredient is going to be 8 grams of our Swerve granular. You can use any 0-calorie sweetener you want here. If you want your cookie sweeter than last time, you can add this in. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but because I like it super sweet, I'm putting it in. 8 grams, here we go. Then we need 1 gram of cinnamon. Then 1 gram of the baking powder, not baking soda, baking powder. Now that we have all of our dry ingredients into our small bowl, the next step is to mix them or sift them up. You know it, we're going to be doing some sifting. You know I highly recommend sifting in any case, but this one in particular, much like our single serving cinnamon roll recipe, which if you haven't checked that one out, you definitely should. Much like that recipe, you can get some pockets of too much cinnamon, and you definitely don't want to be taking bites of this cookie at the end and getting blasts of cinnamon here and none of it there. So definitely make sure it is well combined by sifting. And we only have 2 wet ingredients to mix together here. We're going to be doing the first one, which is going to be 12 grams of the Swerve brown sugar. Ooh. Not bad, I eyeballed it, but I was a gram off, putting it back in for later. And our second and last wet ingredient is going to be 50 to 75 grams of the almond milk. We're gonna start here by putting in 50 grams. Depending on your casein protein powder, it's going to vary how much almond milk you need. Every one of them absorbs a little bit different. I'm gonna start with 50 here. If we do end up needing more, I'll add it as we go. I've already done it, so I know I'm gonna need a little bit, but just to get things started here, I recommend you start with 50 grams of the almond milk. And once you have those 2 in your bigger mixing bowl, you just want to give it a quick little mix to get the brown sugar dispersed in the almond milk a little bit. Just try to mix up the big chunks in this one. Just like the cinnamon, you don't want to take a bite out of your oatmeal cinnamon raisin cookie and get a blast of brown sugar somewhere and then none somewhere else. So make sure it's all broken up and just distribute amongst your almond milk. Now it's time to combine our dry ingredients with our wet ingredients, which we're going to do in one batch. And like I said, I knew this was going to need more of the almond milk. Of course, I've made this already before, so that's why I knew that. But just for perspective, so you can see your dough might actually end up looking a little dry and crumbly like this. That is the #1 indication you need more almond milk. I recommend adding it in slowly, say about 10 to 20 grams at a time, until you get the appropriate consistency, which I will show you shortly. So I just wanted to break in here real quick to remind you to smash the like button. Consider subscribing if you're not subscribed. And I have a question. If you can't have a chocolate chip cookie and you can't have an oatmeal raisin cookie, what kind of cookie are you gonna have? Let's talk about it in the comment section. All right, back to the video. And mine did end up needing about 20 more grams of the almond milk. You can see here now I have the appropriate consistency, good moisture level on our dough here. This is what you're looking for. Little tough to move the spoon through here, but not too soupy. Of course, if you used whey and you realize now that I wasn't lying and your batter is soupy, time to throw it away and start over. Go get yourself some casein protein powder. But we are finished making our dough here. Now it's time to fold in our raisins. So here I have 15 grams of the raisins, pre-measured and on the money, of course. I am going to hold out about 6 or 7 of these to put on top of the cookie after we finish forming it. The rest I'm going to fold in right now. And once you have your raisins folded in and completely dispersed around your dough, it's time to put this onto a piece of parchment paper, form it into a cookie. How you form it is how it's going to come out, whether you put it in the air fryer or you put it in a conventional oven. So let's do that next. Make sure you scrape down the bowl. You don't want to lose any of that anabolic deliciousness. And you don't have to take that long a time to form your cookie. I'm trying to make it look nice because I have a thumbnail to take. But just shape it however you want it. You want to make sure that it is thinned out over your piece of parchment paper because you want this to cook all the way through. Our last step here is going to be to add on the raisins we held out, put them right on top. So again, it looks nice. So we have our cookie ready to go. Our next step is to preheat our air fryer to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius. And we're going to cook this for about 6 to 8 minutes, checking it along the way. Definitely check it at the 6-minute mark. You don't want to burn this. If it needs a little bit longer, add another minute or two on and keep it going. If you're going to put it in the oven, you want to add 25 degrees Fahrenheit or about 5 degrees Celsius to the temperature, and you're going to add about 4 to 6 minutes of cooking time. Again, checking it along the way. You don't want this to burn. It is so freaking good. You'd be so upset you didn't get to enjoy the anabolic deliciousness that you're about to see over at the taste test table. So important note as we're letting the cookie cool off on the wire rack here, if you go to peel off that parchment paper and you notice that the underside of the cookie is a little undercooked, that's okay. Just flip it over, put it back in the air fryer with the opposite side facing up for about 1 to 2 minutes. And you're gonna have it coming out perfect. Doesn't happen all the time, but it does depend on your air fryer and how long you cook it for. You just don't want to cook it too much on one side or it will burn. So if you gotta cook the underside of your cookie, flip it over on the other side of the parchment paper, cook it for 1 to 2 minutes, and you are golden. We are gonna let this finish cooling off, and then it's over to the taste test table. We're back at the taste test table yet again to try another one of our single serving air fryer recipes. This one is so good, so filling, very excited to share it with you. So simple to make, not a lot of ingredients. It doesn't take long to put together at all. It's something you can put together right away, ready to go. And the best part is when it's done, not only are you satisfied, but there is no chance that you can overeat on any other cookie because we're only making one. That takes binging out of the equation. It takes going over your calories out of the equation, keeps you on point with your fitness goals. Whether you're shredding, main gaining, or looking to lose weight, this is only gonna help you through the process. But let's stop talking about it. Let's get to our taste test here. It smells so good. I can't wait to take a bite. Once it comes out of the air fryer, you do have to let it cool for about 10 minutes. Then you're good to go. And that's enough words. Let's get to tasting, getting it here. Very hard to pick up because it's so massive. First bite, best bite, always. Don't care what you say. Here we go. Heavenly. The sweetness right on point. The brown sugar adds an amazing flavor mixed in with the swerve granular. You get the sweetness from the raisins and the texture from the oats. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable. So unbelievable. My last cinnamon raisin oatmeal cookie recipe that's designed more for meal prep and having them for the entire week has great texture, great flavor. This is as close as you can get to that without a doubt for the shortest amount of time with a single serving recipe. No doubt in my mind. You are not going to be unhappy with this at all. If you like oatmeal raisin cookies, you're going to love this. This is a great anabolic version. The chewiness, the flavor explosion, oh my goodness. So filling, so satisfying, really feels like you're having a treat. The key in holding out those raisins to put on top not only makes it look nice for the thumbnail, but also allows you to make sure you are dispersing your raisins throughout the entire cookie. The ones that you fold in do get well dispersed, but if you're a little impatient, like I know some of you are, and you don't fold in for long enough, you can get, again, pockets of raisins only, and that's not going to be any good. Evenly dispersing it throughout the top of the cookie allows you to have the right flavor with every bite. I think adding in the swerve granular for sweetness is something that I would put in the chocolate chip recipe that we did like this, that was single serving. Definitely going to add that into the cookbook. One more for added sweetness for someone who likes sweets. Gonna be right on point. It definitely helps you feel more full. It's more of a satisfying single serving cookie. I'll flash up the macros here so we can see everything that's in it. As you can see, over 20 protein, the fiber's on, way more satisfying than any protein bar. Even it's getting to be about that time. I gotta get up out of here, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye.